Hello and welcome to today's session on Federated data protection with HP's StoreOnce and Catalyst data protection solution. My name is Paul Haverfield. I'm the Principal Storage Technologist for HP Storage in Asia Pacific and Japan region, and it's my pleasure to spend a little bit of time with you today. Thank you very much for that, to talk to you about our StoreOnce and Catalyst solution. So customers these days are looking for some very simple requirements from their storage. They're heading towards a delivery of IT as a service in a seamless fashion, doing that through a journey through virtualization and then ultimately either private or cloud computing. At the same time, customers are wanting to reduce business risk exposure. They're wanting to improve the information protection solutions, wanting to improve the efficiencies and the performance within data protection with deduplication technologies, as well as high-speed disk-to-disk backup. And lastly, with data growth, information growth, unstructured data growth coming in from more sources, customers are typically wanting to obtain more value from the information that they are retaining and are having to keep for various regulatory and industry compliance requirements. So HP's converged storage portfolio is all about helping customers achieve these very basic business requirements from their storage, and that's regardless of whether the customer chooses to implement a storage solution as a physical device or even maybe as a virtual storage appliance. So as I mentioned, HP's converged storage strategy is all about transforming the industry. We're taking a very brand new, very fresh approach to delivering storage infrastructure for today's organization with a seamless approach to converged management, where we can deliver one single management framework that orchestrates across servers, networks, and storage. This delivers tremendous flexibility and skill retention and knowledge management within your IT infrastructure management organization. We're all about delivering scale-out solutions using federated software. So gone are the days of having highly complex proprietary platforms with very complex software tying them together and disruptive mechanisms for migrating data between these platforms. The HP converged storage approach is about non-disruptively, seamlessly being able to manage your data and migrate your data in a very mobile fashion between storage platforms and between software solutions. And this is all based on industry standard x86 hardware platforms. So also gone are the days of highly proprietary, non-reusable storage platforms, which typically have a higher cost base and a shorter lifespan. Using a standardized industry-based x86 hardware platform, we're able to keep up with the latest processor speeds, memory speeds. We're able to deliver a more competitive solution cost-wise, and ultimately this plays all into the customer's benefits in delivering a more competitive, more efficient infrastructure base for your organization. But today we're going to focus on data protection with backup and deduplication. So most customers I talk to these days have four major problem areas in regard to backup and ultimately, backup efficiency. The first one is unable to meet backup windows. So data is growing, data retention is growing, but the one item here that's not growing is time. They still only have the same amount of time per day or per backup window to back up an increasing data need. Disaster recovery is getting more complex. The customers are getting more distributed in nature. They have more offices, more locations where data is retained. The customer organizations are becoming more demanding in terms of having shorter recovery point objectives or RPOs, having shorter recovery time objectives or RTOs, And this is all leading into, DR solutions becoming more complex. Customers that are highly distributed and have multiple offices will quite often use remote office backups where they feed in data into a central site, or maybe they feed data out from a central site to a secondary site. And this is becoming, more expensive as different solutions in place today and not as efficient as perhaps they could be. And customers are also looking at ways to save money through no longer sending tapes off-site in a traditional method where the truck would come each morning and pick up a bag of tapes and take them off to a secure repository for a month and then bring them back again. And then lastly, and perhaps most importantly, restore performance. We only back up data because we think we're going to need to restore it. And when we do need to restore it, we want it to be very predictable. We want to know exactly how long it's going to take. And we don't want it to take twice as long to restore the data as it took to back it up. So these are the most common challenges that customers are facing with backup and deduplication today. And these are the exact challenges that HP is resolving for you within the StoreOnce Catalyst data protection solutions. So approximately 4 years ago, HP embarked on a new vision and a new strategy for data protection and backup technology. HP Labs started off this initiative with its deduplication investigations and deduplication research. The vision that HP Labs created was a concept of federated deduplication. The ability to implement a single deduplication technology across an entire enterprise or across an entire small to medium-sized business with one technology that could be mobile, it could be portable, and we could migrate deduplicated data across an organization between different stages of the life cycle without having to rehydrate that data at any point in time unless that rehydration was specifically required. In 2011, HP introduced the very first productized appliance called StoreOnce B6200. This backup appliance was a very high-end, high-capacity, high-performance appliance using HP StoreOnce software to achieve the best backup deduplication performance ratios within the industry. And then in 2012, we extended that platform further by introducing the Catalyst software interface. The Catalyst software interface fulfilled our vision in terms of extending the federation of backup deduplication appliances together within a single management interface across an entire organization without having to rehydrate data at any stage of the life cycle unless it was explicitly required. So this vision that we can see here, we set out in 2010 to deliver, would enable us to bring together organizations that have regional remote offices as well as data centers, or maybe just a couple of data centers, and implement a single technology everywhere across that entire landscape from small to large, from large to extreme, with one solution, with one piece of technology. And this technology is what we call Catalyst. So the early deduplication technology in the industry that was, we typically coin the phrase a dedupe 1.0. This was the type of technology the first vendors introduced in the industry many years ago. And this, solved some problems at the time, but it actually introduced new problems and it left major gaps. The basic problem that it solved was that it allowed us to deduplicate our data at the same time that we were backing up to a disk-to-disk backup appliance. However, due to the incompatibilities introduced with the different approaches here, customers found that they had incompatible silos of deduplicated data, and to move that data around their organization, they were continuously rehydrating that data, or the reverse of deduplicating, bringing it back to its original form, which became very inefficient, particularly in a distributed organization that, say, has regional or remote offices as well as a centralized data center. So HP has solved these problems with what we call the second major evolution of deduplication technology, dedupe 2.0. Dedupe 2, based around HP's StoreOnce technology with Catalyst software extensions, is a HP intellectual property solution. It's something that, as I mentioned, was born in HP Labs around 2008 to 2010, and then commercialized and brought to the market under HP Storage Division's branding. We have something like 50 patents within the StoreOnce deduplication algorithms. We have extremely efficient algorithms where we have variable chunk sizes where you don't have to make a trade-off between backing up different types of data sets or databases within the same backup stream into the same deduplication store and trying to choose an optimal block size. We have the ability to dynamically adjust our block size for deduplication to achieve the best deduplication ratios within the industry. And then most importantly, we have the one approach, we have the one technology approach to deduplication that allows us to deduplicate anywhere. So we can deduplicate very close to the application where the data resides, as well as deduplicating in a data center on a disk-to-disk backup appliance without any incompatibility in those different deduplicated data sets. So if we compare here what it looks like if we side by side a dedupe 1.0, dedupe 2.0 solution, what we find is for a typical customer that might have a virtual server farm, they might have a remote office, and they might have a centralized data center. With an EMC solution, they could have anywhere up to around 4 different technologies for that backup and that deduplication. Contrast that with the right-hand side with HP StoreOnce. One technology, deduplicate once, you have a very efficient mobility of your data and superior economics across the entire backup data protection solution. So HP's StoreOnce portfolio was recently extended in December 2012. Originally, when we introduced the StoreOnce product family, we started off at the very high end with the B6200. This was our ultra scalable, ultra high available, multi-node clustered data protection solution up to 512 terabytes in size. We recently also introduced the low-end and mid-range platforms here with the 2000 and the 4000 to build out the StoreOnce portfolio to deliver on that vision of having the one technology that would scale from the high end to the very smallest low end across an entire organization. So this extends our leadership. We're able now to provide single technology solutions to the small to medium business up to the largest service provider with the single deduplication and backup software technology. This supports customers who want to deliver a software-only solution, perhaps using HP's Data Protector, as well as solutions using the hardware acceleration features of the disk-to-disk deduplication backup appliances. We also compare exceptionally favorably with currently the data domain solutions. You know, if you look here with our 2000, 4000 solutions, we're able to achieve 3 times faster recovery than data domain, 3 times faster than previous generations of the HP StoreOnce solution, and at a much, much lower cost per terabyte per hour compared to our competitors. You know, so I'd encourage you to have this conversation with your backup vendor and seriously analyze and compare the deduplication technology that is available today, and make sure you look at how it rehydrates data as it moves data throughout the value chain across your organization. So now I'll just spend a few minutes though looking at Catalyst in particular. You know, Catalyst is what I call the green technology for backup. It's the software that gives us the smarts of the StoreOnce solution, and it's the software that gets us away from the traditional approach of virtual tape library type solutions on backup appliances. So Catalyst was introduced to StoreOnce, designed by HP Labs, designed and introduced to StoreOnce to speed up backup and restore processing. So Catalyst gives us the ability to offload the most intensive portions of backup and restore off the actual backup appliances and perform that work where there's typically more resources available, which is out on the application server or the backup server. It gives us the flexibility to perform the deduplication in different locations, whether it's a remote office, branch office, close to the application server, on the backup server, or if we want on the deduplication backup appliance itself. And then finally, it extends the simplicity of management into the actual management software that their customers are familiar with, which is the actual backup software. So using your existing backup software today from Symantec or HP, you're able to manage a StoreOnce Catalyst solution within the actual management interface that you're already familiar with. You don't have to learn a new management interface to use StoreOnce Catalyst deduplication solutions. So what are some principles behind how this works and how this looks? So with Symantec, with Net Backup and Backup Exec, Catalyst fully integrates with these backup software solutions out of the box. We're able to move data around the organization under the control of Net Backup or Backup Exec without the need for rehydration. So this is fantastic efficiency for wide area network links for customers that have a remote office or a branch office, or customers that might have a primary data center and a secondary data center. So you back up once, you dedupe once, and then you make a replica of that deduplicated data in a different location, which increases the availability and reduces your business risk. The same applies to HP Data Protector. With HP Data Protector, we're also able to perform that deduplication on the actual application server itself. So we're able to leverage the resources on an application server with Data Protector to perform that deduplication with even more efficiency and even perhaps without the need for a hardware backup appliance, hardware backup server in the backup path. So overall, the primary overarching value proposition here with the StoreOnce Catalyst solution is being able to replicate and backup data anywhere you need within your network. We only ever rehydrate data when it's actually needed at the point in time, perhaps when you want to copy it to tape or when you actually need to do a restore. We're able to support very flexible, very complex solutions around multi-site replication. Customers that might have more than 3 data centers, you're able to do multi-site cascaded replication, 1 to 3, 1 to 4, fan out, type replication solutions. And doing this, you could actually potentially remove the need for using tape and that truck that comes and picks up those tapes ever again. So with the introduction of HP StoreOnce's backup appliances and the Catalyst software interface, we believe it shifts the major advantage of deduplication functionality squarely into HP's court. We're the only vendor that provides a complete solution in terms of being able to deduplicate and backup data once at the application source, on the backup server, as well as the target deduplication appliance. All the other vendors that are, quite common and popular within the backup industry, they can either do the backup server or the target, or maybe the application source, but none of the others, etc., in various trade-offs and inefficiencies. So you can see here HP with StoreOnce and Catalyst, and in conjunction with Data Protector, has the ability to back up your data across all these different areas of your infrastructure with one technology, very efficient, very low cost, very effective. So this meets the vision. It exceeds the vision of what we set out to achieve in 2008 to 2010 within HP Labs. We have end-to-end data movement seamlessly with one interface, one management approach under your current backup applications control. We're able to rehydrate the data only once when it's needed at a point in time for recovery purposes. And we do this in a very simple, very automated and consolidated scale-out approach. This makes customers with wide area network solutions very efficient and very competitive in their ability to decrease their risk and increase their data protection capabilities. So if I go back now and just have a look at, how does Catalyst and StoreOnce compare against these problems that we're facing today? Unable to meet backup windows. By using Catalyst and StoreOnce, we're able to push more of the work out to do backup and deduplication closer to where the data resides. This allows us to get efficiencies of scale, efficiencies of greater resource utilization to back up more data in less time. So we'll give that a tick. Disaster recovery can be simplified quite an amount with a single technology solution using StoreOnce with Catalyst. We're able to rehydrate data only once. We're able to transport the deduplicated data across the network in a very efficient fashion. And again, we're able to do this under the control of our backup software that we're already familiar with. So we'll give that a tick. The concept of having expensive, different backup solutions in the remote office as compared to the data center, this goes away with StoreOnce and Catalyst. We're able to deploy either a software-only solution into a very small regional office, which could replicate the deduplicated data into head office. Or we could deploy a small low-end hardware appliance into that same office. Again, the deduplication data, the format of that data is all compatible between the hardware and the software solutions with Data Protector and StoreOnce. We'll give that a tick. The restore performance problem has been totally resolved. As you saw previously, some figures there we had how we compare with restore performance. Our restore performance at worst case is equal to backup performance. In most cases, it's actually better. So we'll give that a tick. So I'd like to thank you very much for your time today. I'd encourage you to look more and research more into StoreOnce and Catalyst, speak to your HP rep, and I hope we can help you in the future in solving those data protection challenges and giving you a more restful night's rest. Thank you very much for your time again, and I look forward to speaking to you again in the future. Bye for now.